Are far away. Galactic Council. Very official.
Very official. You've got the Grand Councilwoman in charge, and then there's Jumba Jukiba, this mad scientist type.
Right, and he's presenting his latest creation, Experiment 626.
And he is so proud of this thing. Jumba's basically boasting, he's indestructible, designed for maximum chaos, that kind of thing.
But the Grand Councilwoman, she takes one look, and her reaction is, well, different.
Yeah, she's not seeing the ultimate weapon Jumba thinks he's made.
Troublemaker. Yeah, uncontrollable.
Which is such a great contrast right off the bat. Creator's pride versus practical reality.
And the council doesn't mess around. The verdict is pretty swift.
Yep. Jumba and 626, both sentenced, off to prison.
Doesn't last long for 626, though.
Not at all. He's built for escape, right? Breaks out, grabs a ship.
And sets course. Straight for Earth. Of all places.
Which causes, understandably, a bit of a panic back at headquarters.
A bit. They almost decide to just, vaporize the planet.
Seriously, the thinking is, better destroy Earth than let 626 loose there. Pretty extreme.
Luckily, they have Pleakley, their Earth expert.
Right, and Pleakley steps in, pleads Earth's case. You can't just blow it up.
And the reason he gives is just perfect.
Oh, it's the best. He tells them Earth is a protected wildlife preserve because...
They're rebuilding the mosquito population.
Exactly. It's so specific and kind of absurd. It totally works, though.
Mosquitoes save the day. Who knew? So, okay, Earth is spared. Now what?
New plan. Jumba gets the job of going to Earth to get 626 back.
Reluctantly.
Oh, very reluctantly. And he's got a minder. Pleakley has to supervise him.
Setting up that classic odd couple dynamic.
Definitely. Okay, so now let's shift focus. Dramatic cut to Earth. Specifically, Hawaii.
And here we meet Lilo Pelikai, our main human character.
We first see her trying to feed Pudge the fish. Controls the weather, apparently.
Right. But things aren't easy for Lilo. We see her struggling, like in her hula class.
Yeah, she's getting picked on by Myrtle Edmonds and her group.
And it escalates, doesn't it? Lilo pushes Myrtle back after getting pushed herself.
And boom, kicked out of class.
It paints a picture pretty quickly. Lilo's having a tough time fitting in.
And it's not just kid stuff. This ties into bigger problems. Her older sister, Nani.
She's Lilo's guardian, and she's really struggling, trying to hold down a job, pay the bills. It's constant pressure.
So much pressure that social services get involved. A social worker, Mrs. Kakoa, pays them a visit.
And Nani and Lilo try to, put on a brave face, pretend everything's fine.
But it doesn't really work. Mrs. Kakoa sees the strain. She tells Nani she needs to set some goals, show stability.
There's also Tutu, their neighbor, kind of like a grandmother figure.
Yeah, she's supportive. She encourages Nani, tells her she should follow her own dreams, maybe marine biology.
But Nani feels she can't, right? She has to be there for Lilo. Put her first.
Exactly. It's a heavy burden. And we also meet Tutu's grandson, David Kawina.
The surfer dude.
Yeah.
Who clearly has a crush on Nani. Adds a little bit of potential brightness, maybe?
A little spark, yeah. So that night, things are tense, but Nani and Lilo sort of make up.
And Lilo's looking at the sky. Sees what she thinks is a shooting star.
But we, the audience, know better.
Yeah. That's 626 a stolen ship burning through the atmosphere. Crash landing.
And right at that moment, Lilo makes a wish.
For a friend. A real friend. Someone who won't leave.
Wow. Talk about timing. So 626, let's start calling him Stitch now, maybe. Or soon, anyway. He crashed.
And immediately starts causing chaos.
Yeah.
Just like he was designed to.
Yep. Crashes a wedding for cake. Gets run over by some trucks, which barely phases him, by the way.
Shows how tough he is.
Totally. And eventually, he ends up at the local animal shelter.
Meanwhile, Jumba and Pleakley have landed too. And they're trying to blend in.
Trying being the operative word. Their human disguises are something else.
They check into a hotel. Jumba messes with his portal gun, almost blows their cover immediately.
Classic Jumba, but they hear whispers, right, about this weird blue creature down at the shelter.
Bingo. They know it's got to be 626.
So the next day, Lilo goes to the shelter. Tutu takes her, thinking maybe a pet would help.
And that's where she sees him, 626.
And he sees them, Jumba and Pleakley lurking outside.
So he has to think fast. He kind of tucks in his extra arms, his antenna, tries to look like a dog.
A very, very strange dog.
He sees Lilo and hatches a plan.
Use her as a shield, pretend to be her pet so Jumba and Pleakley can't easily grab him.
It's purely tactical at this point for him. But Lilo
Lilo sees him, and it's instant connection. She doesn't care that he's weird-looking or, as everyone else calls him...
Ugly.
Yeah. Tutu thinks he's ugly. The shelter worker thinks he's ugly. Nani definitely thinks he's ugly later on. But Lilo sees something else.
And she names him Stitch.
Perfect name. It's this moment of just pure acceptance from her.
While all this is happening, the crash site hasn't exactly gone unnoticed.
No way. Enter Agent Cobra Bubbles, ex-CIA. Very serious dude.
He and his team find the wreckage. Definitely alien. Cobra seems to have, like, a history with this stuff.
He does. And then he gets notified Lilo Pelekai has just adopted a very strange creature from the shelter near the crash site.
Suspicious. Match. So now Cobra's watching them, too.
Yeah, the pressure just keeps mounting. So Lilo's got Stitch now. And she tries to, show him off.
To Myrtle and her friends. Maybe hoping he'll make her seem cool or strong.
Doesn't quite work out that way. Stitch's reaction is, well, Stitch-like. He hotwires Myrtle's little coin-operated car thing.
Leads to a bit of a chaotic drive.
And during this drive, Stitch realizes something important and kind of dismaying for him.
The island. It's surrounded by water.
Exactly. And we find out why that's bad for him. Water makes his molecules super dense. He sinks like a rock.
So escape just got a lot harder. He's basically trapped.
Yep. And he keeps causing trouble, even accidentally. Nani gets a job at a luau.
Where David works, too.
Right. And Stitch gets hold of the fire-dancing batons.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Sets the stage on fire. Nani gets fired. Again.
This is getting serious. Nani's at her wit's end. She's ready to take Stitch back to the shelter. This isn't working.
But Lilo steps in. She reminds Nani about Ohana.
Ohana means family.
Family means nobody gets left behind or forgotten. Their parents' words.
It's the core of their whole relationship, that idea. And apparently Cobra Bubbles overhears this exchange. Files it away.
Lilo really tries to drive this home for Stitch, too. She shows him the family photo album, pictures of her parents, trying to show him what Ohana looks like.
Bringing him into their world, their loss, their bond.
So, the next morning, Mrs. Kakoa is back. And she's not alone.
Cobra Bubbles is with her. Turns out he's involved with social services somehow, or maybe just using it as cover.
It seems like he's overseeing things, maybe? Anyway, Nani is frantically trying to find any job before they take Lilo.
But Stitch, while Stitch is being Stitch, he messes up every single job interview opportunity.
Not even intentionally, maybe. Just chaos follows him. But it makes Nani look completely incapable of providing a stable home.
Things look really bleak. But then David has an idea.
Good old David. He suggests Nani use her surfing skills, give lessons.
It makes sense. Play to her strengths.
Nani goes for it, and there's this lovely moment, right? Surfing, Lilo's there, Nani's teaching.
Even Stitch joins in, sort of.
Yeah.
A brief moment of peace. Like this could work.
Could work. Until...
Jumba and Pleakley show up. On a jet ski, no less.
Chaos ensues. They try to grab Stitch. There's a struggle.
And Lilo and Stitch get knocked into the water.
Which we know is bad news for Stitch. He panics. He can't swim. He's sinking.
And in his panic, because he's so dense, he accidentally pulls Lilo under with him. Terrifying moment.
Nani and David dive in immediately, pull Lilo out. She's okay, but shaken.
And this seems to hit Stitch hard. Seeing Lilo scared, hurt because of him.
You see the guilt. The first real crack in his destructive programming, maybe. He feels bad.
The aftermath is rough. At the hospital, Mrs. Kikoa delivers the blow.
The state can help with things like insurance, but only if Nani relinquishes guardianship.
Devastating. Nani feels trapped. She agrees, thinking it's the only way to ensure Lilo is cared for properly. Heartbreaking.
While that's happening, things are shifting on the galactic front, too. The Grand Councilwoman calls Jumba and Pleakley.
She's had enough.
Yeah.
Mission failure. She tells Pleakley to bring Jumba in.
But Jumba's not done. He's obsessed. He pulls a fast one, shoves Pleakley through a portal.
Straight into the hotel closet.
Gets him out of the way. Jumba's going rogue. He's going to get Stitch himself. No supervision.
Back at the house, Stitch overhears Nani talking to Lilo, explaining that things are going to change, that Lilo might have to live somewhere else for a while.
And it clicks for Stitch. He connects the dots. He's the reason their Ohana is breaking apart.
That weight is too much. He feels responsible. So he leaves. Goes back to the shelter.
The next morning, Mrs. Kakoa and Cobra arrive to collect Lilo. But she's not there.
She's gone to the shelter to find Stitch.
And who else finds him there?
Jumba. Big showdown time.
Jumba tries to poison the well. Right. Tries to turn Lilo against Stitch. Tells her Stitch only ever used her.
He needed a human shield. Calls her a fleshy cushion. Brutal.
But it doesn't work. Lilo's bond, Stitch's change. It's real now. Stitch fights back. He grabs Jumba's portal gun.
And traps Jumba in this hilarious portal loop, buys them time to escape.
Jumba breaks free eventually, though, and he is furious. Reverts to his full, big, four-armed alien form.
And chases them. Total destruction ensues. Back through town, ending up at Lilo and Nani's house, which gets, well, demolished.
In the chaos, Jumba finally captures Stitch, drags him off towards his ship. But Lilo...
Nobody gets left behind. She follows them right through the portal Jumba opens.
Nani gets home to find absolute devastation, and Lilo gone.
But she's not alone. Pleakley, out of the closet now, David, Tutu, even Cobra Bubbles, they all rally. Time to save Lilo.
Okay, so on Jumba's ship, what's his plan for Stitch now?
It's pretty dark. He wants to basically reverse Stitch's development, remove his capacity for love, for connection, turn him back into pure destruction. He even calls it Experiment 627.
Erasing the Ohana Stitch found. But Lilo's there too. She's not just standing by.
No way. She sneaks around, finds Stitch, frees him from his restraints.
And Stitch, he fights back. Not just random chaos, but fighting for Lilo against Jumba.
Lilo helps again, opens the ship's bay doors.
Sucking Jumba out, the ship is crashing into the ocean at this point.
Nani and the others arrive just as the ship hits the water. Nani dives straight in for Lilo.
But underwater, Stitch's density problem again. He's pulling Lilo down with him.
And in this incredibly moving moment, Stitch lets go of her hand. He chooses to save her, even if it means he drowns.
Wow, that's the full transformation right there.
Totally. David gets Lilo out. Nani, incredibly brave, dives back in for Stitch, who's unconscious.
They get him to shore, try everything to revive him. CPR, David even uses defibrillators he finds. Nothing works.
It looks like it's too late, but Lilo has an idea. A crazy Lilo idea.
Car batteries.
Car batteries. They hook him up. Tense moments. And then...
He's back. Stitch coughs, sputters. He's alive.
Just in time for the grand finale.
The Grand Councilwoman herself arrives on Earth. Big ship. Very imposing.
Jumba gets hauled out of the water, promptly arrested. And the Councilwoman is ready to take Stitch too. His sentence is exile, after all.
But then, Stitch speaks. Actually speaks English.
Using the words Lilo taught him. He asks if he can say goodbye to his Ohana.
And that hits differently, doesn't it? Seeing this monster talk about his family.
It does. The Councilwoman is taken aback. And Cobra Bubbles steps in too. He's seen everything. He confirms Stitch isn't a threat anymore, maybe, and argues keeping the whole alien thing quiet is best for Earth.
So the Councilwoman makes a ruling. A surprising one.
Stitch can serve his exile right here, on Earth, with Lilo.
Is Ohana. And Pleakley. He decides to stay too. Officially to keep an eye on Stitch.
But really, he's found his place too, hasn't he?
Seems like it. So, crisis averted, mostly, but the family situation still needs sorting.
Mrs. Kakoa has a new offer. Maybe influenced by Cobra, or just seeing the bond. Lilo can be fostered by Tutu and David.
Which would mean Nani could finally go to college, pursue her own life.
It's still hard for Nani, leaving Lilo. But Lilo, she's grown so much, she tells Nani to go, to live her life.
It's Lilo supporting Nani now, showing that Ohana strength.
And the story doesn't quite end there. We get those little glimpses, like in the credits.
Yeah. And then that final scene, Nani's at college, video calling Lilo and Stitch.
But then uses Jumbo's portal gun to just pop home for a quick bedtime cuddle.
So cool. Cobra almost catches them, but finds them all snuggled up. Their unconventional family still together, finding ways.
What a journey for Experiment 626, huh? From pure destruction.
You're finding family, finding belonging. It really is incredible.
Yeah, the whole story just hammers home that idea of transformation. Finding your home, your purpose, not necessarily where you started, but where you're accepted, where you're loved.
And it all comes back to Ohana, that core idea. Family isn't just blood, it's who shows up, who stays, who refuses to leave anyone behind.
Makes you think, doesn't it? Beyond the story, what does that chosen family, that commitment, that Ohana look like in your own life? Who gets included? Who never gets left behind?
Definitely something to ponder, a powerful message.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for diving into this one with us.
My pleasure. Until the next deep dive.